Hey gang, welcome back to Jade's Garage. Today's video I'm going to be test fitting all of the front end pieces that make up the grille, the rock guard, the valance panel, the bumper, all those pieces that are on the 68 Mustang. If you like videos like this, I suggest you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to see more. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with this car, this is a 68 Mustang that I bought about 7 years ago. It has been worked on infrequently over those years. I've built other Mustangs in the meantime, but I'm getting close to having this car ready for paint. There's a playlist for this particular car. It is Jade, and there's 46 videos on this car. I put in torque boxes, floor pans, floor supports, quarter panels, tail panels, or tail panel, wheel houses, front aprons, core support, rebuilt the suspension, converted it to power steering, converted it to power brakes. I'm putting a vintage air system in it, rebuilt 302, rebuilt transmission. This is going to be a nice car when it's all done, but I want to make sure all of the pieces fit the car. So today I plan to work on test fitting. As I say many times, test fit, test fit, test fit. I want to make sure the apron fits, the rock guard, and you know, this car never actually had a bumper on it when I got it. The first video I show, there's no bumper at all. Even though it had a bumper with it, it was never on the car. So I'm also going to test fit a bumper that is with it. Now, the bumper that I have, it's probably in good enough shape to use, but I have a new one coming. So that'll have to be put on later, but I need to make sure everything fits. So most of this video will probably be a time lapse, but I will step in and make clips as we go along. Let's get started. Alright, as I said, here are the pieces I'm going to test fit. I had to scrounge around until I found my bumper brackets. I thought I was going to have to order a set, but apparently I did have these. They were in my little storage building. The front apron, it's pretty straight, may need a little bit of filler on it. Of course, the headlight buckets, the bumper, and the rock guard. I am missing one part. I don't know if I have it, I can't find it, but there is a support that goes off of the center brace that acts as a support like this does for the rock guard. So I don't know if I'm going to need it or if I'm just going to fabricate my own, but that's the only piece that I think I'm missing at this point. Okay, this is where I'm at so far. I wanted to test fit the bumper brackets themselves, make sure they lined up, so I did that. I bolted those on, and then I took the bumper and put it on top of the brackets. Everything lined up great. So now I've got the extension on, or the headlight bucket, on the passenger side, and it's still going to need a little bit of work back here, because I talked about this when I was doing these repairs on this Fender, that there was some damage here, and that has thrown off this line just a little bit. So I'll have to address that. So I have the other headlight bucket in place. The rock guard is just sitting there. I have to research a little bit on the hardware. I've noticed it has an odd cutout shape there. So I'm sure there's some sort of a clip that must fit into that. I have to research it, like I said. Otherwise, things line up pretty good. Some of the smaller details that I've noticed, like I'm pretty confident the bolts here that go from the valance into the rock guard are I guess a 5/16 or a 7/16 head. If you use a bigger one, it's going to bind right there. I'm still missing a bolt there, and I have the bolts in the valance to the fender. Probably need to make some minor adjustments. This one hangs out just a little bit, but I could probably adjust that and get it straightened up. On the other side, what I've noticed, and I don't know how this was on here before, but the upper bolt lines up, and I can move this in and out. That's not a problem. But the lower one, the hole is offset from the fender, so I'll have to address that as well. I think it's looking pretty good. Now, I know I talked about it before. Oh, I'm going to point this out too. There's a little bit of tension on the fenders pushing in on the rock guard. So if I take this or lift this up, this is going to want to pull in a little, and that's not really going to hurt anything. I'm just making an observation. I did have the trim pieces for the grill set in place. Those look okay. I also had set in that 05 grill setup that I've talked about before. It doesn't look that bad. I'm still debating on that. The problem I have is the grill that I have. Obviously this one has holes in it because they punch through for those lights. But this grill is also, well, the standard grill has all the mount points for the pony and various accessory pieces that go in there. I have another one, but I don't plan on putting in the pony section or any of the interior, the other shell of trim that's going to go inside there. So I may have to come up with a different grill. I've been researching that a little bit. If anybody has any insight, maybe some suggestions, let me know. But I think I'm close. I need a couple more nut plates and some body filler. Like I said, it's going to have to get smooth up here on the headlight extension. This one I bolted it in, but it pushed over whenever I had the valance in, or the rock guard in place. So I think this one will be fine once I push it over and tighten the bolts or the nuts. And I'll put the bumper on so I can show you what that looks like. My mind is telling me there must be something that attaches here. I'm assuming it's for the bumper. I don't know if I have those pieces or not. So just some thoughts, if anybody can suggest that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a hole there. So obviously there's a bracket that I'm lacking in the pieces. So I'll have to come up with those. And of course, look around and see if I have a good set of, I think I've ordered a set of side marker lights. So that should be okay. Okay, I'll set the bumper on, maybe set that grill back up in there and take another look at it. Now you can see what it looks like with that grill. You know, it's not bad, but I don't know that it's going to look good enough. You know, it still has that gap on the sides there. And maybe, I don't know what I could do to modify that. Like if I trimmed off the edge of this so it kind of just didn't show up so much, but I don't know. I mean, I like the lights, and of course with all the trim on it'll look a bit different, but it's interesting. It's not bad, but it's different. That's all I can say, really. You know, of course the bumper's not sitting right because it doesn't have these end brackets, these side pieces. But otherwise, I think it's looking pretty good. You know, I had another part show up today. I talked about it on my live stream. I was missing a hood latch. So I ordered this one from CJ Pony. Looks like it's zinc coated, or zinc plated, I should say. I don't know if I want to paint this or not. I kind of like it, just being a little bit different. So I'm going to get this mounted and be able to latch the hood, which I haven't done since I've had the car, honestly. So we'll see how this works. Not as good as I had hoped. It's not the latch. It's like the angle on the hood is wrong. It's actually hitting where it's supposed to go into. That's too much flex. That's not good. I may have to come up with a way to strengthen this. I can't have that flexing because over time, that's just going to get worse and worse. I may have to put in a plate of some sort to strengthen up this area right here. Man. That works. Sort of. Well, I experimented a little bit. I adjusted the hinge or the latch into the hood so that I could at least latch it into place. So I have it sitting on the bumpers, looking good, but there's still some flex in there. And that's why it's catching right now, because the flex is making it catch inside the opening. So I'll still have to come up with something to strengthen that area. And it may be as simple as putting in some big washers. And that would be spreading the load on a broader surface instead of that narrow strip of metal. So that may be what I try, is some bigger washers. Well, I think I have some more work to do on the hood. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I think I'm going to have to come up with some sort of a gusset system or something to strengthen that part of the hood. I added the washers. It's still flexing too much. That's not going to be a good thing, because I can't open the hood if the hinge or if the latch wants to rotate forward and get caught in the opening. More on that later. Really, this video is meant to be a test fit. See what I'm lacking for parts, which I think I've covered most of that. Some bolts and hardware that I still need to get. So I think it's moving along. Obviously, as I said, there's going to be more body filler added, particularly to this fender. There will probably be some on the other fender. Probably, not much, but everything needs a final touch to make sure that it's smooth and straight and ready for paint. So I'm going to order some more hardware and try to resolve the pieces that I'm lacking and move on from there. But I'm liking it. I really am feeling pretty good about this. I know that I need more parts. The grill, I'm not going to use the 05 setup. Just not going to work. The grills that I have, no good. Not for this project. I don't want to have any of the plates where the Mustang is supposed to mount. I've had people suggest I buy some expanded metal and build my own. I may do that. I haven't researched that very much just yet. There are other options out there. They do make some billet grills that look pretty decent. I may look at those. As far as the laundry list of pieces and parts, well, the grill primarily. I have to see if I have the side marker lights for the fenders. I need to, I'm going to replace the steering wheel. I'm not going to use the old school chunky steering wheel. I don't like the looks of that. I have to look at what I'm going to do eventually for a radio. I'm going to replace all the seat belts. I don't want to use any of those. And of course the gauge cluster. I'm still trying to resolve what I want to do with that. I know that there's really nice aftermarket stuff out there. I may have to go with that. The stuff that I have is just not complete. The bezel is not in good shape, so I need to address that. And probably a dash pad. I've looked at this one a few times and it just has too much wave in it and there's some cracks. Not going to work, so I need to look at a dash pad as well. Other than that, I think I have almost everything else. I know I have all the seals and all that stuff, and I have a console. I don't know what condition it's in, whether I'm going to use it or not, and you know, stuff, just stuff. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the new patrons that have joined the team, and also thank you to those that have been doing Patreon for me for quite some time now. I appreciate all of you very much. All of that helps with the channel and the continuation of making videos and building cars and all that cool stuff. There are still t-shirts, of course, on Teespring, and of course the Amazon link. If you want to buy stuff through Amazon, I get a percentage of that order that you may make. So those links will be down below in the description, or you can go to my banner, and up in the top corner there's also a hot link for those various pages. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya. And it takes a little bit of effort to get up here to get this nut onto the post, but it's in place. I will point out there's a little bit of a problem right here because, as I pointed out when I was repairing this Fender, there was damage here, and it's going to take a little filler to make that shape correct. So just a small amount. I put in floor pans, quarter panels, wheel houses, tail panel. I put in new front suspension, rebuilt the rear end, floor pans. Did I say floor pans? Maybe I said floor pans twice. See ya.